Hi, what we're going to do in this lesson is take a look at Amazing Grace, which is a great song. We're going to be playing it in the key of G. The chords we're going to need to use are G, C, and D. I'm going to play through it once in a real kind of a basic, straightforward way. Then I'm going to play through it again and add some ideas, and then again and add some ideas, and maybe again and add some ideas. Different ways that it can be played by adding chords, making some slight differences, changes to the chords. So feel free to stop after the first version if that's the one you're comfortable with and the one you want to use. But if you want to try adding some other things, I'll be talking about that as well. Amazing Grace is usually played in 3/4 time. 1, 2, 3. Traditionally, it's played in 3/4 time. You can also play it in 4/4. But we're gonna in this lesson use 3/4 time. And I'm gonna play through it once now, and then I'll explain the chords and how I'm using them. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Okay, so that was a real straightforward, using the basic chords. Starts with a G to C, back to G, stays on G, kind of ends on D the first time, back to the G, C, G, D, and we come back to the G chord. And that's it. That's the song, and that just keeps repeating with the additional verses in the song. There's no bridge or any of that kind of thing. So there it is in the key of G. Now I'm going to play it again, and I'm going to add a couple of things, and then I'll explain what I'm doing. But it's going to be the same progression we just played, but I'm going to add a couple of little things. So what I did, I started with a G chord, I went right to a G7 chord. So and then the rest I was doing, I just went to the C and then back to the G. And then I threw in an E minor chord. Instead of staying on that G chord, we play an E minor chord there before going to the D. E minor is the relative minor chord of G, so it sounds good and works well in that spot. So here's what we did. G, G7, C, G, E minor, stays on E minor, then goes to D, and back to G, G7, C, G, E minor, D, back to G. So by adding those two things, we add a little bit of maybe interest to the song, some additional sounds. Now I'm going to play through it again and add a couple more things and explain what they are. So we start the same way. It's going to contain the same ideas we just played through, plus two more. G, so that time we did the same thing. We did the G7 idea. We went to the E minor, but after the E minor, I put in an A7 chord, or you can use a regular A major chord that leads to the D chord. That's done in a lot of songs. A lot of songs that use these three chords will use these ideas, using the E minor, using the A before D. A lot of country songs do that. So now we have an A chord in there as well, or A7. And the other thing I added was when I went to the D, I used a D7 chord. So let me play through that again. G, D7, C, G, E minor, A7, D7, G, G7, C, G, E minor, D, E7, G. So we've kind of added a couple of other things that contribute to the song. The way we're playing it that last time, that the song is played that way a lot of times. It's sort of the standard ideas that you would add to the basic chord progression. So let's go through it that way once, and I'll sing along with that so you can kind of hear the difference. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. I was blind, but now I see. So it's the same song, same idea, that we just added some little complexity, a little interest to the music we're playing. One more thing that you can do at the end when you come back from that D7 to the G, you know, you're starting things over again, you can throw this in. So like in the second part, you go G, G7, C, G, E minor, D, G, taking you back to the beginning. And the way we do that, we play a G chord without our index finger, and then we're going to keep our little finger and our ring finger where they are, but we're going to take our first finger down to the first fret of the second string, and our middle finger to the fourth fret of the fourth string, or excuse me, the second fret of the fourth string. It's like we're going to a C chord, or an A minor 7, or an A minor chord, those two fingers. That's used in a lot of different songs, but it's a nice way of kind of signaling the end of the sequence, and then we're back to the beginning of the song. So those are the little additions you can add to Amazing Grace that'll kind of add a few things to it. One other idea is that the melody of Amazing Grace is all contained within the G major pentatonic scale. And pentatonic scales are in all types of music. But how that's relevant to us, the melody notes are also within the chords. So if you play through the chords and kind of pick individual notes or individual strings, you'll find a lot of the melody notes. If you want to take the time, you can find the exact melody, or you can kind of just randomly pick and it'll just contribute to the sound. So let me kind of do that right now and give you kind of an idea. So there's the melody. So just by picking the notes of the chords, you're going to find a lot of the melody notes are right there. So that's kind of another thing you can do as you're playing through the song. So there we have Amazing Grace, and with some additional chord ideas that you can try as you play through it. And I hope this was a helpful lesson. Thanks.